Problem statement. A PhD student, Tony Roma from Biohealth Science program, will conduct a 3-month experiment on the effects of natural compounds of turmeric on tumor cells. Tony will have to initially administer the tumor cells into Sprague-Dawley rats. His supervisor has reminded Tony that as the tumor tissue develops, the rats will probably undergo pain, distress, and that some may even not make it through the 3 months duration. Introduction. Animal models of chemical carcinogenesis is the use of laboratory animals that are induced with cancerous cells to test chemicals with potential human exposure for carcinogenic activity or carcinogen bioassay. The central issue is that should Tony Roma administer the tumor cells into Sprague-Dawley rats, even though the rats will probably undergo pain, distress, and that some may even not make it through the 3 months duration of the experiment on the effects of natural compounds of turmeric on the tumor cells. The potential options to the problems are, first, to administer the tumor cells into the Sprague-Dawley rats. Second, to not administer the tumor cells into the Sprague-Dawley rats. Who is affected by the decision? The people or parties affected are Tony Roma, Sprague-Dawley rats, the supervisor, and the university. The preliminary decision is to administer the tumor cells into Sprague-Dawley rats because it is believed that chemical carcinogenesis studies in animals have directly contributed to a reduction of cancer burden in the human population. The preliminary decision will be evaluated based on a harm test, professional test, fate test, and publicity test. Similar case. Potential natural compounds can be evaluated for their effects on cutaneous tumor initiation, promotion, and progression. In a study in Swiss albino mice exposed to 7,12-dimethylbenzanthracene (DMBA), the chemopreventive efficacy of rosmarinic acid was reported. The authors reported that they succeeded in inducing squamous cell carcinoma (SCC), which is the second most common form of skin cancer, in all the mice within 15 weeks of topically applying only DMBA. The investigated parameters were found modified in the SCC tumor-bearing animals, while extremely positive clinical results were obtained in the animals treated orally with rosmarinic acid. The treated animals did not develop tumors, while animals already bearing SCC tumors exhibited a normalization of all the tested detoxification agents, lipid preoxidation byproducts, antioxidants, and apoptotic markers such as p53, BCL2, Kpase3, and Kpase9.
Next, we're going to talk about harm tests. After all the research, I have concluded that there are 4 parties that are affected by this decision. There are Tony Roma, Sprague-Dawley rats, supervisor, and university. For the first party is Tony Roma. There will always be consequences neither he decided or not to administer the tumor cells into Sprague-Dawley rats. If he carry on with this experimentation, it will increase the safety of the products before it being released to human. It will no other at testing alternatives to human. It is less expensive alternatives. It allows him to study the effects of the treatment, but it could lead to reverse data. But if he don't administer the project, then the product might be harmful to human. He needs to find other alternatives. He has no chance to complete his research, but he can avoid from misleading data and save budget. For the second party, Sprague-Dawley rats. If Tony Roma's administer the tumor cells, then the rats could earn the benefits to themselves if the treatment works. They are protected from abuse and mistreatment by law, but they are probably undergo pain, distress, or fatal. But if Tony Roma do not proceed his research, then the rats can avoid from any complications. The lost parties are university and supervisor. Tony Rama's research could lead to medical advancement to human, and the university can get a recognition for a new research. But if the research doesn't go on, then they lose the chance to raise the name of institution, and the university would be thought to be more backward.
Let's have a look on faith tests from the point of view of Islam, Hindu, and Buddha. First, for Islam, using animals for research is permitted as long as there is a good reason. Animal testing could be ethical or unethical, depends on the intention of researchers. Second, for Hindu, animal testing is illegal according to Ahimsa, the ethic of non-violence. However, if the testing is for medical purposes, it would be more accepted as to make sure that medicines are safe and effective to use. Lastly, for Buddha, animal testing is morally wrong, but is still allowed with certain restrictions such as accept the karma from testing, test for good purposes only, minimize the harm on animals, and treat them kindly and respectfully. Eventually, through the faith test, we could see that animal testing is still accepted by some religions, but with certain limitations. On the other hand, let's have a sneak peek on publicity tests. Harming animals for experimental purpose will bring pain, suffering, and may lead to death, but is still acceptable because they are being used in research and tests for the safety of products. Therefore, we should publicize to remind the society to treat animals with the same respect as humans, although they are being used for experimental purposes. For example, publicize to researchers and experimenters so that they will handle the experimental animals kindly, respectfully, and avoid cruelty while handling the experiment. This can be set as an example for others that treating experimental animals cruelly is illegal.
According to the Malaysian Animal Welfare Act 2015, Part 4 under Section 26 states that the use of animals in research, testing, and teaching are only permissible with board license. Furthermore, in Part 5, animal cruelty offences are listed under Section 29 and in Section 33 mentions that any person who fails to follow the guidelines of animal care and supervision relating to the protection of the animal from cruelty or animal welfare are committing an offence against this act. Legislations differ among the nations of the European Union regarding the protection of animals used in research. However, the directive outlined standards such as reducing the number of animals used in research, making a guideline for the adequate care of animals, removing unnecessary pain, suffering, distress, and lasting harm to the animals, and avoiding redundant experiments. This act pushes the need of license to carry out experimental and other scientific procedures carried out on any vertebrate animals that may cause pain or lasting harm. This act also covers all scientific procedures from a simple blood draw to major surgeries. This policy protects all vertebrate animals, including fish, reptiles, rats, mice, and birds, used in research funded by the Public Health Service. Each research facility is needed to provide written procedures to comply with PHS policy and guide. These committees are to review every proposed animal protocol, whether to approve or deny. Each animal protocol must include the procedure or drugs used to eliminate or minimize pain and discomfort, alternative methods to avoid painful procedures, and a description of the research to ensure that the experiment does not repeat previous research. The members of the committee must include a veterinarian, a professional not involved in research, and a community representative.
Conclusion. Based on the result from harm tests, fate tests, professional tests, and publicity tests, Tony Roma should administer the tumor cells into spraghtly rats because it can be considered as medical treatment and provides more advantages than disadvantages. However, he should follow the rules, restrictions, and protocol such as treat rats kindly, minimize the pain on them, as well as maintaining a strict procedure. On the other hand, Tony Roma could shorten the duration of the experiment since some of the rats cannot even survive for 3 months, or he could let tumor cells fully develop on certain sample rats instead of on all rats.